dark of the night, whispers of deceit.
Shadows dance on the walls.
Secrets they repeat. A shadowed figure
With eyes full of light.
hiding truths in the shadows where no one dares to pry. Uncover the truth. Let the lies come undone. Peel back the
layers.
until
I've
the
memorized
light
the
is shown.
I know.
Uncover the truth. Let the shadows break free from the chains that find the sun. Uncover the truth in the dead of the night, where secrets lie hidden like a whispered bite. Uncover the truth in the dim of the light, where betrayals take root.
I have to say these songs are catchy.
That's why you're going to put on a AI tour. I think we've decided with your AI bands.
Yeah,
You have like 5 of them. So this is Bloodlines and Betrayal, and I'm I'm the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully, and David Wolf over here, the music producer, Coach Human. You know who David Wolf is or no?
No.
Okay, he was Cyndi Lauper's producer on Girls Just Have to Have Fun, and then married her. And the only reason I know him is because he participated in WrestleMania when the first.
I know he was Lou Albano.
Yeah, you remember that? Yep.
Was it Lou Albano?
No. Lou Albano became friends with Cyndi Lauper because they just happened to be on the same flight together, and he I don't know how, but he talked her into being part of wrestling, and she was like Britney Spears at the time, and that's what really turned the WWF at the time around, because they got Cyndi Lauper and Mr. T to be part of the first WrestleMania, and Vince McMahon spent all his money, mortgaged his house, borrowed money to put on this show, and had it failed, the WWF probably would have went under. I don't know. I know you're not a wrestling fan, but it was a critical point. It was Hulk Hogan and Mr. T versus Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, and Roddy Piper. Special guest referee was Muhammad Ali, but he was they knew when they were trying to go over the match that he was already messed up. So they had to change it to make him the special outside enforcer. And
really?
If you watch the match, and it's crazy, he actually he took a swing at Roddy Piper for real. They're like, wow, he's going after him. And they had to pull him back. If you watch him throw a punch, I can't remember when it happened, but it was crazy as shit. And it doesn't matter. But so
that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, if you watch the match, he goes after him, and Piper loses it, and he has to yell at everyone to get him off of him, because they're trying to, back then they didn't really choreograph the matches as much, but they did because Mr. T was involved, and Mr. T was super paranoid about it because he had the reputation of being this tough guy, and he was nervous that one of the wrestlers were going to expose him and take advantage of him, make him look bad, because it's live. You can do whatever the fuck you want. So they choreographed the whole match, which they don't usually do. And Muhammad Ali got in the ring and started screwing it up.
Wow.
So if you ever watch it, if you ever get a chance to watch it back, it is kind of funny. So this was a Netflix documentary, and I happened to watch it over the weekend, and I was just blown away. It's one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. It involves a doctor from South Africa. Her name is Dr. Nandipa Magdamana. She was a medical professional and also an influencer. She had a lot of money, and it involves also Thabo Bester, who was convicted in 2010, I believe, or 2011 for rape, 2 rapes, and a murder. It was 2011. He pled guilty. He actually didn't go to trial. He pled guilty to 2 rapes in 2011 and a murder in 2012, and had been sentenced to life in prison. Okay. Thabo Bester is the definition of a master manipulator. Narcissist, master manipulator, borderline personality disorder. And it was very suspicious because Dr. Nandipa, nobody really understood how she got involved with him because it didn't make sense. Here is this successful doctor. She's all over the media in South Africa. She's beautiful. And, you know, she's treating high-end clients. She's got money. And she was like famous. She was a famous doctor, very successful, hardworking, drove nice cars, lived in a mansion, whatever. They're still waiting to go to trial because Thabo Bester basically took all the blame for this. But what happened was they think it was around if you're in jail in South Africa and you're taking classes, high school classes or college classes, you get a computer. Okay. So this guy, Thabo Bester, he created a sham media and events company called 21st Century Media. And he ran this from prison. Okay.
Yeah.
He had some help on, he said some help on the outside, but he would Photoshop images of himself. They showed this. He would Photoshop his face onto Michael B. Jordan's body, and it would like show him in a fancy car. So he was doing this with all sorts of celebrities to give off the appearance that he had all this money and whatnot.
You know, I vaguely remember this now.
I did not remember this. I never heard of it. This was the
remember
first.
This. Okay, go ahead.
You do.
I'm sorry.
You do.
Yeah, I do. Good. Yeah.
So he was making money basically by this 21st Century Fox subsidiary called 21st Century Media. He would advertise like Halle Berry, Taraji P. Henson, all these people, Drake. He would say that, oh, Drake's going to put on a concert on so-and-so date. Here, get your tickets. And people would buy tickets, and then the event would be canceled, and the money would never be returned. Halle Berry would be a guest speaker at his upcoming event, and Halle Berry would get wind of it and post on her social media, no, this is not true. People would still buy tickets, and he'd pocket the thing. So Nandipa, for some reason, they played some voicemails. They think that she started getting involved with him in like 2018 because he was posting messages or leaving messages on her voicemail. And he professed his innocence. He said he pled guilty because he didn't understand the legal process, and he was really innocent because his first nickname was the Facebook rapist or the Facebook murderer, because he had probably 10 or 12 different aliases and a million different social media profiles. And that's how he met women. And he photoshopped, like I said, pictures of celebrities, put his face on it. So it shows him driving nice cars, living in mansions. He gives off the appearance of wealth. But he was very poor, and he was born in South Africa. And what happened was his mother, Maria Mobsko, was never able to register her son after giving birth to him. So Thabo Bester was never on file, was never registered after birth, because the mother was working on farms and she didn't have registration. So he went through life with no like true ID, no registration of anything. Even when he was first convicted at age 17 for rape, and he still didn't get an ID. And when the police arrested him, they should have put him in the system or whatever. But I think he used the aliases. He used an alias when he was arrested. So at the age of 19, he spent 2 years in jail for fraud before breaking parole and raping 2 models, and then he murdered his girlfriend, and that's what ended up in jail. He was sentenced to life in prison to 2012. That's why he was in jail. So, and then he created this company while he was in jail. He was making money, and then he contacted Dr. Nandipa, who, again, she's this celebrity doctor in South Africa. She worked at a hospital before she opened a clinic, and then she really became a sought after physician specializing in anesthesiology, whatever, the dermatology, and plastic surgery. She did a ton of plastic surgery. So she worked with high-end clients, and she administered, top-end medications. She did like the cosmetic surgery with Botox and collagen and all this stuff. And she was named one of the top 100 young leaders for young South Africa, and the top 20 most influential young South Africa. She was on that list. And she had high profile clients, including Miss Universe of that year and several others. So this is the other thing I didn't know. In 2021, Dr. Nandipa's medical license expired. And in 2023, the South African political party, the Democratic Alliance, requested that Health Professions Council of South Africa revoke her medical license because she wasn't paying her fees in April 2021. Now, the reason for that was she starts having contact with Thabo Bester in 2018. 2022, what happened was Thabo Bester, he's in a supermax prison, okay? And in 2022, they said that he committed suicide. He was declared dead after a massive fire broke out in his cell. And now the security, the prison was privately owned, which was a whole other story. But the body found was burned beyond recognition. And the DOC, they announced his death to the public. Said he committed suicide. Nothing to, they didn't really investigate it. But the issues were one of the judges on the cases, one of the judges who was on this, he said it again. For some reason, it didn't pass the smell test. And part of it was Dr. Nandipa went to the prison or the morgue to claim his body, to say that, he was my husband and I want to get him buried immediately. And she didn't want an autopsy done. So the autopsy had shown that the body was dead before the fire broke out. Again, that caused a lot of controversy.
Right.
So this one of the papers that's like TMZ in South Africa, Ground Up, they published an article in October of 2022, raising questions due to the investigation into Thabo Bester's suicide, his death. In January 2023, they published another article where they used the autopsy results on the body and found that the body was dead before the fire broke out, like I had revealed. And then that's when the police had started to investigate the murder. So while this is all happening, in 2022, Dr. Nandipa brings to her office a quote unquote new business partner. And I can't remember, his name was TK something. That was the name that was used. TK. And she introduced him to everyone. This is my new business partner, and he's wealthy, and he's going to, invest in us, and he's got plans for us to expand. And the people at work at her office were kind of put back by this. They didn't quite understand who he, and they Googled him, tried to look him up. Nothing came up of this man. So that raised red flags with her own people. And one of her personal assistants was very confused. He asked to meet with them, and he never really gave a straight answer. And then what he also did, he founded a construction company with Dr. Nandipa's money. And again, they bid on projects, got paid, and these projects never happened. They scammed people out of millions of dollars, and for construction projects that never delivered upon. So finally, what happened was, and this guy, Thabo Bester, posing as TK, went to Dr. Nandipa's family. Like, she brought him to family gatherings. He met her entire family. He, the brother said he liked him. Other people said they always got a bad vibe from him, but the family was involved. The family liked him. And then in 2023, it comes out that the body that was burned beyond recognition, they finally get DNA testing back. The DNA did not match Thabo Bester, who they claimed committed suicide in his jail cell. So now all hell breaks loose. And you can see, it's crazy on the documentary. They show she attends red carpet events with this guy. He's in the crowded events. And even when he was in jail, when she had contact with him, when she started, having a relationship, she had a special birthday party for him at an auditorium. And they said that he couldn't be there because he was on location for business. He was in his jail cell. And he was so manipulative that the jail, he was allowed to come and go as he, around the jail. He wasn't shackled. And around the jail, they brought him in tux to wear. So you see him at this event. He says he's on a business trip. He's wearing a tux and he's using his phone. And he's in a Maximums. It'd be the equivalent of being in Alcatraz and having the run of the mill with the COs, and they'll do whatever you want. He was just that good of a manipulator. So now the question is, what the fuck happened? Because they investigate everything. During the time of the death, the CCTV, there were cameras everywhere, but they go down. Everything goes dark for minutes. So they're trying to figure out how in the hell could somebody escape from a supermax prison. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
So once the DNA revealed that it wasn't him, pictures came up on social media, because when Dr. Nandipa went out, like I said, she was a celebrity. Somebody took a picture of her, and you can see her with Thabo Bester, this rapist murderer. And her assistants and family and everyone are like, oh no, that's TK. And then they put two and two together, and they're like, holy shit, Thabo Bester's alive and well. So by the time the police, and mind you, Nandipa was married with two little kids at the time. She had two girls, and she was married to somebody else. And this was like the shockingest thing ever. So by the time the police get a warrant for their arrest, or for both of them, they take off. They're fugitives. They're on the run. There's a manhunt. So they go back and they look at everything. That this is what they find out. Dr. Nandipa, I believe it was a week before his death / escape, she goes to morgues. And I think she went to 2 or 3 morgues. And she finds unclaimed men for bodies, corpses. And I think the first one she got she said it was her father, and because she's a doctor, so she can claim bodies. And the man was too old, so she ends up dumping the man somewhere off a bridge. The second body she gets from the morgue was of a man of the right age. But what the reason this all got kind of blown open was they wouldn't have done a DNA test besides for the fact that the body found in the jail cell was like 2 or 3 inches shorter than Thabo Bester, his size. So that's why they did the DNA test in the first place. So she gets this body from the morgue. It's of an unknown male. And because he has connections with the COs in the prison, or Nandipa probably paid him off, whatever. What happened, it just blows my mind. So she gets the body, and she gets this huge kind of like armoire thing. Puts the body in the armoire, and it's driven into jail, into prison, and it's put right next to the pod where Thabo Bester was staying. The night of the escape, he had help. I think there were 7 other people charged. COs brought the corpse in, gave Thabo Bester clothing because he needed prison outfitting to escape undetected. They give him the prison clothing, and he changes. What are you watching?
I'm watching it. Why?
Oh, okay. Oh, it just sounds like you're watching something. They give him prison clothing. Whoever was in charge of the CCTV shuts it down. He changes. He escapes. They set the fire in his cell, and there's a truck waiting for him. And the rest was history. He goes to Nandipa. Now he's at Nandipa's house. He gets involved in her business. He scams people with this construction company. He basically lives a full year of freedom on the run, or not on the run, because people think he's dead. People think he's dead. People think he's dead. There's the whole way that he escaped was wild. They think he's dead. He's with this famous doctor. You hear the messages, and it's all lovey-dovey, and he's trying to convince her that he didn't do it, and he didn't know what he was admitting to. He's not a rapist. He didn't get a fair shake. He didn't get a fucking trial. This and that, and it'd be the equivalent of like fucking Ted Bundy moving in with Britney Spears, I guess, or some famous doctor. So they lived together. Then I'm sure they had a plan for it, but they realized it wasn't going to last forever.
Right.
So after it's the TMZ and the TMZ of South Africa grounded. They expose that the DNA from the body did not match him, and that he was ground up. It was, and then they published the article with Nandipa and him in a store buying clothing. And it's just crazy that this guy, who's a known murderer, rapist, could just be in plain sight. Like, he didn't have a disguise. He didn't really, I mean, he aged a little bit, but he didn't try to hide himself. He just used a different identity because he never had his own. He never had an ID or whatever. He had like 10 different aliases. So it was, I believe, April or May of 2023, they go on the run. I'm sorry, it was earlier than that. It was, it had to have been March of 2023 or, yeah. So they go on the run in January. It was January they go on the run. And they're on the run for a while. They're on the run for several months. And her family's worried about it. Her brother's worried about it. She abandoned her kids. She was supposed to pick her kids up from school. She never showed. The father had to take care of them. She goes on the run, and they end up, they're able to leave the country. They tried to block the airports or whatever, but they end up in fucking Tanzania. They go to Tanzania, and a private security firm, Fidelity, offered a $100,000 reward for any information about it. So, the judge got in trouble because the judge for the correctional services, he thought this was suspicious from the start, and he gave his report, but he never got anything back from the government. Like, it seemed like a huge cover-up.
Right.
This happened. Like, I think they knew, but they didn't want the publicity, and it was crazy. So they go on the run, and they're on the run until May of 2023. Okay, and they get arrested in Tanzania. They get deported back to South Africa, and 8 people were charged in connection with his escape, including Nandipa. And it was hilarious because if you watch the documentary, Dabo Bester, in South Africa, they don't do juries. It's all the judges. So he appears before the judge. He comes in. He gives a 30-minute diatribe about how he acted alone. Nandipa didn't know. And you can put me to death right now. He's like, I'd rather you just kill me. You can kill me. You can put me to death. None of these people knew. None of them were involved, whatever. And, the judge, of course, says, fuck you. We're going to do whatever we want. And they end up getting tried. The trial, unfortunately, has been delayed because of they keep filing appeals and whatever. It was supposed to go to trial in February of 2025. It gets delayed. It's rescheduled to July of 2025. It gets delayed because their attorneys are filing appeals. And in May of 2025, the Supreme Court dismissed Nandipa's bid to have her arrest and deportation in Tanzania declared unlawful. Now the date was moved to September 19th. The trial was supposed to begin, and it is yet to begin. They also filed a petition to bar Netflix from releasing the documentary because they thought it was going to prejudice the jury, obviously. And I agree. It is very prejudicial. I think, in my opinion, I mean, if a judge watches that, it's going to prejudice them.
Of course.
Yeah. So they said it was defamatory and violated the rights to a fair trial. And it got rejected because the judge said that the overall matter was in the public domain firmly for years. Sorry. So Nandipa is facing She could get up to 5 to 10 years for what her part in this.
Well, why did she get involved with him?
Nobody understands that.
Okay.
It's because people believe that he's a rapist, he's a narcissist. When you're a master manipulator like that.
Yeah. He's a sociopath almost.
Yeah, he is a sociopath. When you can get somebody to do that, he got her to believe that he was wrongly convicted.
You ever wonder why there's so many crazy people in the world when you hear these things? It's not just the people that are
no, I was blown away because
people committing the crimes. It's the associates.
This is a doctor, educated. She's married with 2 kids. She's wealthy. She's successful. Why? And somebody said, a psychologist on there said this, that prisoners often have success with making contact in the outside world with wealthy, successful people because they're intrigued by it. They're intrigued.
Women, I'll put it like this. Probably come off as misogynist. Women like bad boys. Period.
That's, you know what? That is true. That is true. I mean, you know what? This is someone who lived the perfect life.
I think it goes to the.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. You're right.
People, it goes to the now. Obviously, people who are smart use their brain and don't get involved. But people who have a predisposition for it and just don't control it, they have problems with it. So I think of it like this, that's always been the case. Women always like bad boys. They want either a wealthy guy or they want a bad boy, right?
I agree. I didn't even think of that part, but I think you're right. She was drawn to it.
Right, and then they start having relationship, and now they're in. Now, once they're in, especially with a bad, and this isn't just a bad boy, obviously, this is a sociopath. But once you're in that deep with a sociopath, okay, you're not getting out. So
no,
you're not. You're trapped. You're not getting out. It requires a very, very high level of strength to get yourself out. And the truth is, if you especially as a woman, if you got yourself in to begin with, you're probably going to be too weak to get yourself out.
And you don't want to look stupid. And, her assistant came over to.
They're so attracted to bad. Why is, we talked a little bit about it last night. The craziness for this Mangione character.
Yeah, Luigi. Yeah.
I mean,
how do you have no sense? Yeah.
How do you have no sense? Because women like the bad boy. I wonder if I'm not a psychologist nor a
mental health expert.
Mental health expert, yeah. But my gut tells me that it must go back to ancient times when the person who conquered, okay, and was in charge was the guy who was willing to kill.
You're right. They did what they had to do to build their empire.
They did what they had to do to get to the top, right? They were using brute force a lot of the time to win, which requires a level of sociopathness, probably.
Just like Putin.
Was that?
Just like Putin.
Yeah. And he's a modern day version of that. Sure.
Yeah. He'll bomb the shit out of whoever he wants.
Exactly. And I think for women who have children, who were having children in ancient times, that person who was going through brute force had a certain level of power, maybe was in charge of the whole entire tribe because he was willing to kill whoever opposed him. And they were drawn to that. That was what the power was back in those times. Now it's shifted more towards money, right? And status within, society. But that's where the weird drawnness. If I were to like, you know, have a conversation with a mental health expert or a psychologist who was really, they would probably say it's some level of that in people, because rationally wise, it would
It
make
makes no
more,
sense.
right.
It makes no sense.
It makes no
So,
sense. But
and she,
I used to say, like in high school, when you know, I went to high school 10 years even before you did. Who got pretty girls?
you're
The
right. It was always the
the
assholes, the
athletes,
badasses.
not just the athletes, but besides the athletes, the guy who drove the motorcycle, okay, the
Yep.
guy, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't simply the all American boy thing is kind of a little bit of a myth. You
The
know what I
nice
mean?
guys finish last.
Yes, the guy who would like did all his schoolwork and was nice to the girls, he didn't get
Yeah,
any of it.
she don't want anything to do with him. She wants the guy that's a dick,
She wants the
that's not giving her attention.
star on the sports team because he gets a lot of fame and probably brings it to her. And then, or the guy who's dark and
Mysterious.
mysterious
Yep.
and, you know, is going through some things. You know what I'm saying? Riding a motorcycle. He's a rebel.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
That's an attraction,
That's
100%.
an attraction. That's an
But
attraction.
this,
So anyway,
this,
that was
this,
my explanation of the unexplainable for you.
but it's a doctor who is married with kids and has a good family. Why would she even begin
When I was in
conversing
high
with him?
school, it just comes to me because my friends from high school would probably say the same thing about it, right? There were two groups of people that would date girls, pretty girls, and like, you know, pretty smart girls. Well, one of the smart girls, it used to make me chuckle sometimes. The smart girl, some of the smartest girls would be dating some of the worst characters in high school. I mean,
Oh, of
they
course.
I mean, some of the worst characters, meaning like they didn't treat him good. They had a lot of issues. It's like a compassion thing. It's
Or a
like
reclamation project. Yeah.
yeah, and listen, it happens throughout society all the time. So that's how I'm explaining the unexplainable in the sense that this woman's smart, probably rational in every facet of her life,
Successful.
right? But but this gives her a little edge. She's been focused her whole life. And here's the
Yeah,
edge.
she's been doing everything right her whole life, and she's got this nice guy that she doesn't really love that she's married to. And here comes this bad boy who's leaving her these loving messages.
Right.
And then
Love bombing her.
then they played some messages that were not so nice, where he was at the house after he escaped, and he like motherfucked her. He said, "Listen, you fucking bitch, you answer the motherfucking phone anytime I fucking call, or I will fucking show you what I'm about. I will put my hands around your neck and squeeze it until it pops the fuck off. I don't care who you're with or who you fucking talking to. You answer the fucking phone when I fucking call." And because they played that message in court to basically say that like she was taken against her will. But when they appear in court together for the first time,
Right. Wow.
you see them holding hands and like smiling at each other, laughing, loving at each other. And that's what people were shocked by. And then a few months later, they appear together, but they don't look at each other. And that's when Thabo Bester got up and gave a 30-minute diatribe saying that nobody here was responsible. It was all me. They should all be released, have their charges dropped, and you can put me to death. And, obviously the judge said no, but the delays in the trial have just been crazy. It's going to end up going on 3 years before they, I think Nandipa goes to trial. I think Thabo Bester just went back to serving his life sentence for the rapes and the murders. I don't know that he's being tried, but there were 8 people from this prison that were complicit. So I can't believe that this guy was such a smooth talker that he was able to manipulate 8 people at a supermax prison to do what he wanted, to give him a cell phone. He had access to a computer because he was taking class, but all he was using it for was to create fake companies to make money to get in this
Right,
country
sure.
series. And her father ended up getting arrested. And that's why her brother was pissed. Her father allegedly transported the corpse, helped transport the corpse into the prison where they took it. And I don't. He just seems like a patsy and didn't know what he was doing. And maybe his daughter just said, "This is for some experiment or whatever. I'm donating this to the prison or whatever." So the father's also interviewed, and he's just shocked. Like, I can't believe this is my daughter. And all the people who knew her were like, this, was she always like this? Because everyone thinks that she had to know. And she was a willing participant. And she comes off like, I was kidnapped. It's the same thing with Stockholm syndrome, where people fall in love with their hostages or whatever. They're hostage takers. How we covered the white blonde girl who said she was kidnapped and beaten up and escaped. And the guy that was responsible said that, no, man, she came to me. And she ended up getting charged, but it's just crazy. But I think you're right about the bad boy thing.
I think women are unexplainable from that standpoint, and some of the things that happen, like sometimes happen.
This woman could have anyone. If you see her picture, she could have
They
had
don't
anyone.
want anyone. They want
No. But look, if you look her up and look at her picture, she's. I mean,
You ever
she's
watch
stunning.
the movie, the show Billions? Did you ever watch that show?
Of course.
You know what I thought was so spot on and intriguing at the same time about Billions was they had all this money, people, right? And they're fighting for money and power constantly. Whether it's a DA or Axe or
I stopped watching it though after Axelrod left.
it wasn't as good. I didn't either.
Yeah.
I didn't either. I mean, I like what's his name, but I don't like him like that.
I love Damian Lewis.
Damian Lewis
when he left it, it was awesome.
The show was not the same. It definitely was.
I love Paul Giamatti too.
Paul Giamatti is great. His and Axe's right-hand guy was great, but not as the main character. He was great as the next guy.
Yes.
And they had to really bring him more to the forefront in
when Damian Lewis wanted to leave.
Yeah, which I don't know why he want. I don't. Who knows?
Well, I mean, he was on it for 7 years or whatever.
Yeah, it was. I look forward to it every season. It was the greatest.
I do too. I love the Doctor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I found was so interesting. That like Paul Giamatti, the Doctor,
was married to the Doctor. Yeah.
Yeah. Damian Lewis as his character Axe, and even when they brought in the billionaire Jimmy, whatever the guy's name is,
that took over,
kid actor, back in the day, Jerry O'Connell, and then the girl who's the DA, the African American girl who's the DA's assistant,
and the DA that got caught for trying to plant evidence.
Right, she's beautiful. But what I thought was so interesting, and her father, who's a bit character, but like they kind of, what I thought was so interesting is that they all had these eccentricities, all of them, like outside of their eccentricities were the only ones that were really out in front.
The Paul Giamatti, like the S&M stuff, it was awesome.
Right. And I think that's one of the things within human nature that makes so many things perplexing, where people's willingness to move what the line of morality is for them. And
they'll always push it down the field a little further.
Well, what's so amazing about Paul Giamatti in that is the guy who's really wacky. Alex is wacky for money, power. Paul Giamatti's wacky for power. Paul Giamatti has eccentricities.
Yes, they had layers to his character.
they had layers to his character that were really warped. This is a guy who's going around preaching morality.
But
You know
that's
what I'm
how
saying?
that's how you build a character. I mean,
But I think that people,
the writing of
obviously,
it.
it's extreme in a from a television standpoint. But I think there's a lot of people that have some of these eccentricities,
Of course they do.
and it's so it makes these things like when people are like, how could someone do this? I'm like, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of people that have these fetishes and strange
Sure.
acumens to them that you don't know about, and then
Right.
preach to you that they're the most moral. So that's why when I like it politically, when there's what do you call it, a hypocritical activity, and it I'm not surprised by it, and I'm not surprised by these
Not
things
either, yeah.
because women are. I mean, you can't believe how many
People
videos there are.
have to portray an image in public
Correct. That's a
that they
great
would
point.
never
Yep.
they would never show in private.
They would never show in private because
Correct.
that would. Why am I?
They know they'd be judged. They know they'd be second. And they know, what people would think of them. So they have to portray a public image that a lot of times is very,
The
very
mask.
unrealistic.
And
Yeah.
narcissists and
Yeah, the mask,
sociopaths
right.
use the mask more than anybody else.
That's
Right.
why they're successful, because they can fit in wherever they have to. They can target your weak point. They
That's why
figure out your
the
weak
show
point.
Dexter is so great. Is it
Yeah.
Dexter?
Well, Dexter's a serial killer, yeah.
Yeah, you don't know these people are walking among you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, Dexter, yeah. He was taught how to fit in, even though he had no empathy or feelings. His father taught him, listen, son, people are gonna know you're fucked up. So, show up to work every day with donuts for the cops, and play in a bowling league so you show you're normal, so people don't think you're the weird guy.
that's so interesting, right?
And that's what kept him safe. Yeah. I mean, his father knew he was messed up when he was a kid because he was doing some strange stuff, and the mother wanted him out when they adopted him, and the father realized that he had urges to kill, and he found ways to control it until he couldn't, and then that's when he said, okay, well, if you're going to kill, we have to have a code for you to kill. And that's what the code was. It was killing bad guys. It was killing killers. So his father didn't want him hurting innocents. That was his father's big thing.
His father's thing was to help him take care of.
Yeah, his father's like, listen, if you're going to go around killing innocents because you have these urges, you're going to get caught. And the rule number one of the code is don't get caught. And rule number 2 was the person that he killed had to be a murderer himself or someone who was going to cause harm.
Amazing, right?
What do you listen to 3 years since?
What happened?
I hear you listening to something. It's been 3 years since he's gone off the wacko land. Or is that?
I don't know what that is. Is that me? I hear it sounds, but I don't know what that's from.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was you. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Is it you or me?
It's not me.
What is playing?
Oh, sorry.
It is you.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, that was why Dexter was my phone. That was why Dexter was so successful. But yeah,
I'm gonna come back right out. I'm gonna come back because I'm frozen. I'm gonna come back in.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, no,
But keep going.
yeah, no, I agree that you had it pegged correctly. That they are sociopaths and narcissists are perfect about being able to fit in. They know what your weak points are. They know how to target them, and they expose them. And that's simply how someone like Nandipa was able to get targeted. He was talking to her and reaching out to her, and he found her weak point. And I think her weak point was he professed his innocence, and I'm stupid, and I didn't understand. I pled guilty because I didn't understand the legal system, or I had a bad lawyer, and she thought she was doing the right thing by breaking out an innocent man. And then she quickly found out he was not innocent. And then a story her assistant tells is the assistant goes to her house to talk to her about TK, who Thabo Bester portrayed as her business partner. And she takes him outside to the tennis court, and she just started crying. She wouldn't tell him anything, but she just started crying. And that's, he says on the documentary, he's like, that's when I knew something was really wrong, but she wouldn't tell me. But it's just like I said, it's amazing. Someone so successful, someone who didn't need anything from anyone. She was young, a great doctor, had money, married, 2 kids, good family. And you're talking to a convicted, well, a guilty rapist and murderer who admitted it is like, it is wild. I understand the curiosity behind it. Like I'm
The only way I can relate it is what my explanation, because
no, I get that. I wouldn't go that far to date them, though. I can understand the curiosity of maybe writing a letter or something, but to actually go through with spending money to break them out of prison, that's a whole nother level. And there were people in South Africa that loved them like they're Bonnie and Clyde, and they thought like she did this great thing because she was in love. It was for love. I'm like, well, tell the people that he raped and murdered. So that was why I wanted to talk about it. It was the most fascinating case, fascinating story in South African history. And, you know, to break out from a supermax prison like that, it's just unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Do you guys have practice tonight?
Yeah, it's raining though. I don't know what we want to do here.
You don't practice in the rain?
I do, but
Or is it pouring?
If it's pouring, it doesn't make sense with kids, you know.
No, because you're not going to get anything done. You go inside? Is there an indoor facility?
There are indoor facilities, but I'm not.
You have to pay for them. Oh,
yeah.
You can't get into a gym.
Again, with kids, what are you getting done? You know,
you get enough jumping. You don't.
Kids,
do you tackle and do live stuff? Well,
we're not doing it. I mean, we would do like our tackling circuits, you know, and stuff today. But like if it's raining, like we really need to do scout team stuff. But it's I'd have to figure out.
Well, what time is your practice? Is it later?
Yeah, it's
at like 5, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it could stop by then.
Could, but it's supposed to be raining all day.
Oh, I got you.
But yeah, we'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's get off the air and I'll talk to you.
All right. Well,
that was good. That was an interesting case because
it's crazy. You watch the Netflix documentary and then watch the trailer.
Yeah, I have to watch that. I haven't watched that, but
it's only 2 or 3 episodes, but it's wild. Like I was blown away. Like I couldn't stop watching it once I saw it.
Yeah.
So it's another exciting Bloodlines and Betrayal.
Soon coming to Spotify. I'm putting all that stuff up.
Week. Yes.
I created it, but I didn't upload
on Zencast.
Don't you like that? So now it's Zencast basically.
I do.
Have a whole network. We're gonna have a whole network.
You're right. All I did was put the RSS code and everything went over.
It went over. And now
And then
now you could take
just
now
upload it.
You could see, you'll be able to see your uh
The downloads and everything.
yeah, like the reason I was going to come off Zencast because it doesn't have the ad thing the same way that
Spotify.
the supposedly what that other thing was supposed to do. But
Oh, Megaphone, yeah.
yeah. But you know, the truth is, it's a great platform.
Well, because it
Outside
actually
of
does
that.
what it's supposed to do.
Right. It does what it's supposed to do. Like you could see all the you probably are able to see analytics, right? You could see the analytics.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You
Yep.
know, I mean, is their analytics as comprehensive as you would like it? Maybe not. But
No, but I mean, it'll still come up on my Spotify that I have. The Spotify for creators.
right, yeah.
I can still look at it. I can still look at it
Right.
there too. So
That's the other thing. You're still able to do that, right? And
it's good.
no, it's very good. And then you have everything in one platform. And you know, you could really like I think our numbers on that will as a whole network will really improve.
And we can and
you can show that better.
It'll just add on to now YouTube. So you have a YouTube and an audio platform. You can show everything. So that even increases the numbers.
Isn't it amazing though how somehow these the legendary leadership podcast is like
they keep getting
it still kills everything else.
Yeah, of course.
It's great.
Of course it is. It's
like
leadership.
Pod thing like from a long time ago.
Dude, leadership is big. Leadership, coaching, those are some of the top shows you can do. Everyone does a sports show. Everyone does true crime, you know. Leadership, sports, like real estate. That's why Laban's show, the real estate one, does well.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, real estate.
Love real estate. Yeah.
Are you gonna put that on there?
Yeah, I haven't put it up. I put Julius's up because Julius does really well. The Trench Mob show.
You got. I think you have to import that one too.
I did import it. That was the first one I imported because.
But it says it's here that you still have to do the redirect.
I do.
The import. You have to do the redirect to get the import to go the way.
What's that mean?
So let me look you up. You did it. You did it already on. Oh, no, you didn't. Husky Talk. You didn't do it on Husky Talk either. So what you have to do is get off here. I'll screenshot it. We'll get off.
All right. Well, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and throw them back at life. It listed when I comes up on.